welcome to this event. And let me introduce myself first. My name is Handika Lazuardi. Currently, I'm as board of SPE Java Indonesia section from Technical Discussion Group and Distinguished Lecture or the DGNDL team. Today, before we start the presentation, this is the rundown for today's session. We will start with opening from MVT committee. And then there is a moderator and speaker introduction. And we do the main presentation from speaker. And before Q&A session, there is a photo session. And last closing from MVT organizer. Okay, I would like to invite Mbak Hanna as our moderator for today's session. Mbak Hanna, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, Mbak Hanna. Okay, I would like to hand over the moderator for today's session. Okay, Mbak Hanna, time is yours.
Okay. Regarding the azan in my place, can we pending the meeting after the azan finished? Sorry for the inconvenience.
Okay, it's okay.
Okay, thank you for the waiting. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our SPE Member Virtual Talk, Series 1, presented with a new view in safety, saying safety differently to improve HSSE performance. Huge thanks to SPE Java for letting me, Hanna Ressica, to be the moderator for today's session. Before we begin, let's go over the agenda for the short explanation about the topics. As we know, safety is paramount in any organization. However, we often get stuck in routines and fail to see the potential for greater improvement. I bet that everyone in this room has their own experience with finding the sense of learning from failure, or even problems to control the situation. By these virtual talks, we expect that it will secure your state of mind for having your own safety improvement. The topic we're discussing tonight is truly fascinating, isn't it? Without further ado, please welcome Mr. Syamsul Arifin, Senior Analyst Occupational Safety at Pertamina Hulu Energi. Before we go, I'm gonna read the house rules for the participants in this room. First, participant will be mute during the presentation. Second, if you have any question, type in the chat box or raising your hand to ask directly during the Q&A session. Third, you may speak after the moderator or me permits. And last is be prepared to turn on the camera for documentation. Okay, for Mr. Syamsul Arifin, that will help us to think outside the box to find new ways to enhance health, safety, security, and environment performance. Mr. Syamsul Arifin, the time is yours.
All right, thank you, Mbak Hanna and Bapak Ibu from SPE. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Salam warahmatullahi
Okay. Okay, my screen. Let me just full screen this first. Okay, my name is Syamsul Arifin, and Mbak Hanna already shared a little bit about my background. So I'm currently working around 20 years in the oil and gas industry in high-risk organization. And before I'm with Pertamina since 2018, I joined Seven Indonesia company at Balikpapan and also at the engineering construction installation companies in multi-production solution. Oh yeah, I'm also had worked at Samarinda for 1 year at 2008 with MP Sembera, and starting 2005 at a safety service company in H2S breathing apparatus and gas detection for operation at the drilling and production, where we might gonna see some of the H2S or deadly or lethal gas in our operation. I also have bachelor and master degree from Occupational Health and Safety from University of Indonesia, and I'm currently working on to get past my doctoral degree at University of Brawijaya. And other than joining Society Petroleum Engineering, I also joined International Occupational Safety and Health from UK, American Society Safety Petroleum from US, and at Indonesia, I joined also Indonesian Industrial Hygiene Association, Agronomic Association, and Human Factor Indonesian, and for the Safety and Engineering Association at the oil and gas. Now there are 4 agenda that we're gonna discuss for this evening. The first one is about safety science development. The second one is about how the complexities at our work, especially in oil and gas, have been increased, and what are the main ideas on the topic that I gonna deliver the safety differently, we call that. And does safety differently do work? And let's explore some of the practices or the examples that we can capture in a real world practice. Now, before we start discussing this topic, in this picture, what did you guys see? Please comment on the chat box. What do you guys see at this picture? Feel free to, okay, Pak Teguh, I see young lady with hat turning her face. The other participant? Already too few nice looking ladies and all men smoking. Okay, Pak Valentinus Perli, you got that kind of right. This is 2%. Oh, all men smoking. Oh, all men or all women nih, Pak Benny Wijaya, Pak Benny Marga Wijaya. So, this picture, I would like to convey a message that we can see things in different kind of perspective. And just like what when they are said, if we change the way we look at things, the things itself change, the things that we look change. It's gonna be, we see that substance or that condition or that environment, we're gonna look at different. And then what Norman Finspel also said, that if we change our thought, if we change our frame of thinking, then we're gonna change our world. We call that as our worldview. Now, I also gonna share you one of the example. This is my favorite example actually. We call this gentleman called Pak Thomas Alva Edison. He was born at 11 February, same month as me, but not same years, yeah. At 11 February 1847, and he only had or experienced very short period in school, informal school. He only go around 3 months at the elementary school. So at those schools, he got been labeled by the school administrator of the, or we call it the kepala sekolah in here, as adult. And I tried to Google what's adult mean. It's called in Indonesia, we call it also people who's with rotten brain. So those who cannot absorb the information and cannot think clearly or something like that. So he got been kicked out from the school, and the principal sent a note to his mother. And if we search for if we search the letter of this principal, we will see that being used in several motivation session. So the school give his mother very critical letter information to the mother that the sons cannot join the school, and then he have stupid or something like that. But when his mother read it to Thomas, he tell a different story. So his mother did not accept the framework, the framing that have been labeled by the school, and she gave him a place where he can study, a place where he can do his experience in his garage. And also because of that, his mother teach him different, because his mother see Thomas Alva Edison differently. Thomas can excel and can, we know him as a lot of the inventor, one of the inventor in our history. He created a gramophone, he created the light bulb, and other of the other stuff that we can gain some lot of benefit from his invention. He had 1093 patent, and it's kind of different, yeah. If imagine if his mother have the same paradigm as the school principal have, then we cannot have a lot of things, and that also change the world, probably gonna change the world today. So that shifting paradigm that we have, we see from Thomas Alva Edison's mother, we can apply that in several contexts in our industry or our practice, professional practice. So we start with safety science. Safety science is how we do, or the methodology that been used, and how the early scientists develop the theory, and also the theory itself is not only things that people make up, but it's also how people see phenomena in the world and written it into a set of rules or set of ways that can predict something in the future. And in safety world, there are two things that I see have mainly dominate the how we manage safety in today's modern world. In 1910, Frederick Winslow Taylor also known as the Taylorism. Taylor been known as the founder of safety science, ya, the safety science management science gitu ya, scientific management. So Frederick Taylor also have his his student like Gilbert or something. They do this. Their main ideas is that they determine the most efficient ways that can be performed, how to perform a work. So Taylor is engineer at the steel factory, and the factory itself gonna produce a different kind of output every day. So Taylor try to try to try to monitor, try to observe what people do, and try to wrote what are the best uh, tasks that the worker gonna do every day. So by doing that, the worker being told what they need to do, the production of of the factories become more stable and it become more optimum. Yeah, so the worker need to be told what to do. They need to be supervised on the things that they need to do, and they monitor for violation or for the abnormal condition or for different act that they do every day. By doing that, Taylor had very much uh, we learn from Taylor as we have today about the standard operating procedure. Worker have to follow certain steps, and they need to in this illustration we can see that they just don't need to think about do what they need to do on the work site. They just do what they are being told by the person upside their hierarchy and the organization. And in the 1930s, we have a different person, Herbert William Henrik, the engineering superintendent at the travel insurance company. He invented what we call now domino theory, or we call it now the triangle theory. And by the domino itself is just a set of dominoes that can illustrate how accident happen. So in here we have the last domino fall is the injury, before that is accident, and before that in the middle is have unsafe act, mechanical or physical hazard. And before that we have the fault of person, and before that we have social environment or ancestry. And the main focus of this theory, the domino theory, is by removing one of the domino, the accident can be prevented. And now, previously, the Henrik focused on the early or the first dominoes, and later on he focused on the middle domino, where we can see that this unsafe act. Now, by removing the person or by observing the behavior of the people that doing unsafe act, we can free ourselves from the accident. So in this kind of theory, we can see the main ideas that the human become a cause of trouble or cause of hazard in our workplace. Now that kind of be different from in the 1940s, when the things got more complicated. We have a more complex technological system, and the human role in that is very much very critical. So the human factor is grew up from the engineering psychologist. He see human different in here. By using a human factor science, we see human not as a source or the things that create problem, create hazard. In here, human is being considered as the recipient of the safety problem, or the problem that have been created upstream and been handed down by their tools, their technology, their organization, their working environment, or their task. Because the tool never been perfect, the technology also have glitch. That's why we have patches, we have updates, and the organization always have limited organization, and the working environment, especially in our oil and gas industry, is very demanding, very hard. We have a lot of physical or hazard from the heat, from the sound, from the noise, and all of that tax. And also we have a task that is very demanding. So different than behaviorism, human factors try to change behavior not by targeting behavior, but targeting the condition where we work. We're gonna see that example later on. So in here, the example is by the development of the ergonomic or human factors science in World War II, when Alfonso Japanese have been working at the one of the base for the U.S. What do you call that? The Angkatan Udara. We have the
Air Force.
Air Force, yeah, Army, yeah.
The
We have
army, yeah.
we have an army. Alfonso Japanese is a psychologist that's been based on the Japanese. So when the World War II, America or United States and the Allies very much dominate the war, but they have been problem. So when they're sending pilots, bombing, uh, having a mission, they come back with a lot of fault, yeah. They come back, they try to land at the base. They need to lower down their wheel and retract their wing. But what happened is that the pilot keep getting mistake or doing mistake thing. What they do is they pick up the wheel and they lower the wing. That caused the plane to the body of the plane hitting the tarmac and causing a spark and fire, hit the fuel, hit the ammunition that they carried, and they got burned or they got blow up on the airport, yeah. And from 2 year period, there have been a lot of around 457 plane that been crashes, and Alfonso Japanese tried to evaluate or try to analyze what caused this event. So he note that the event occurred to the pilot without considering how long their experience is. So the more experience and the less experience also have the same the crashes, and not considering the event, the crashes also happen to the young pilot and also to the senior pilot. So they become confused, and what they actually realize at the end is that the wheel, the handle for to retract the wing and to lower the wheel have the same or similar button, yeah. They have a similar toggle to retract the landing gear and to control the wing valve. Those two equally is positioned very close each other. So when the pilot become very stressed after the war, have been fatigued or something like that, they eventually mix between these two buttons. So what Alfonso Japanese do is, because it's in an immediate wartime fix, he put a small rubber tire wheel at the attach of the gear and a small wedge shape or the small wing at the control for the wings, and that make the pilot easier or very much better identifying the handle, the switch, yeah. So we know that this is not human error causing the accident, but this is because of the cockpit design error. That's why the prevention through design is very much become the priority for the human factor. So Professor James Reason from the Manchester University also mentioned that we cannot change the human condition. Human gonna feel tired, have limited attention. We have short memory, also other human characteristic, and we cannot change that. But we can change the condition where human work to make them better on information process, on identifying information, or processing information, or doing a decision making. So this one is quite interesting, that lesson that we have also there. And we also note this similar happen. Okay, let's just click this first. This is happened in 2020s in so the guys try to repositioning walking platform over here. They're walking offshore at the drilling rig, try to make it closer to the riser, well riser in here. And then when they try to close it, they have an operator right here that operate this platform, because this platform is remotely operated from this control. You see that? And replay this one again. So when the guy try to repositioning the operator over here, make a mistake or make an error. But luckily, they use a full body harness attached to the anchor point up there, so they not fall into the ocean below them. So this is what happened. The operator operate incorrect handle for operation. What he touch, what he manipulate is the handle for locking mechanism of the working platform. So when he tried to lower it or try to position it, the platform, working platform over here, it accidentally unlocked the locking mechanism, causing the platform to fall. But this kind of incident doesn't happen, not just in this case, but previously they also experienced the same condition. But their investigation recommendation is very much focused on the procedural, on the training for the operator, without any making a significant adjustment to layout or to re-engineer the handle of this position, because this handle is very much close to each other and without any different labeling or in one area closer together. So in this accident, we can see that a lot of human errors, especially for slip lapse, can be prevented mainly by doing engineering control, like we also learn at the hierarchy of control. Now, in today's world, we also have a lot of complexities, increased complexities in our operation, because what Heraclius, one of the philosophers, said, that the only constant in life is change itself. There's no change except the change itself. Yeah. And throughout the history, we can see that the industry have developed. First, we know the industry from mechanization or steam power. We have also the mass production line, electrical energy, and then we have also automatization, computer and electronic. Now we have cyber physical system, Internet of Things network, where we include in our operation about artificial intelligence, cloud computing, big data, Internet of Things, cybersecurity, simulation, smart decision support system, computer vision, or even the virtual reality. And this not only cause people to make their work easier, but also create another hazard in our operation. In previously from the World War II, we know about the FUCA model for future. You have complexities, situation where substantial parties, multiple variable, interconnected relationship. We become more people become more specialized in their work. We also have ambiguity, where the causal relation factor become ambiguous. And we also have volatility when things can run unexpected direction, yeah. And we have uncertainty also. And now we have another term for that. We have in 2022 where COVID strike. We have bunny brittleness, anxious, nonlinear, incomprehensible, where brittleness shows that we have the illusion of strange, big company or the organization that we have. We thought they are strong organization, but they become brittle in certain condition where they did not anticipate. Or we also have anxious, where we thought we have control over things, but we actually don't have that kind of control over things, because things we also see the black swan, yeah, from event that not been anticipated in the future. We also have non-linear, when we said we have an illusion of predictability. Things aren't easily predicted in the future. We cannot say that A causing B and B causing A again, because A probably causing B, but B also causing A, or A causing B, B causing C, and C causing A. It become a network of causal factor, yeah. And the last one, we have incomprehensible system, that we need the intuition, not only the things that we know, but we have other decision making process that we need to develop in here. And at our industry, we can see that also become different. That kind of ideas about the development of the technology also developed in here. You can see from the past 100 years, rig have been developed, better, steel. Drop a tool, now they use rotary drilling and also turbine. Now we also even have tried to not only horizontal well, but directional well and HSSE drilling. Now also we have state of the art tools, equipment, software. It becomes more specific, and then in here we can see that the rig is locking still. The operation becomes making our operation safer, efficient, but also create another hazard that we cannot manage by using our old view. So what are the main ideas for what we're gonna be presenting in here? So the first one is that we no longer see people as a problem to control, like we see at the inmate in prison. We become the police for them. No, we now need to see people as the solution to harness. And if we see the people as a problem, we focus more on their behavior by using the conventional approach like carrot and stick, giving them reward for their line act, what you say, and giving them punishment or consequences for their act. And that only create external motivation beyond themselves, yeah. And that can also lead to fear from themselves, and then it will inhibit their speak up process, and at the end of the day gonna be minimizing the learning practice we have learning culture. However, if we see people as a solution, we're gonna focus on relation among human. People no longer sees a hierarchical position, but we focus on how we build that relation, so people will trust us, and they will learn better, and we will create a psychological safety climate where people will take risks to report problem, to propose a solution, and from there on we have a intrinsic speak up culture because people feel ownership or people own for the operation, and at the end of the day we're gonna create a positive trust loop where we start from considering people as a solution to harness rather than a problem to control. And because also we need to understand that by the approach from Taylorism, the procedural compliance, have a limitation. In here we have a significant framework from Dave Snowden, where he divide four domain of the work condition. When the things have a clear or have a very direct relation between A and B, we can use that as a best practice or documented best practice as a ways to be used again in the future because it gonna be can be repeatable. When the thing complicated, we need to analyze first, and then it gonna be different because from person A to person B have a different practices. Some will see that as a good practices. That's why in oil and gas industry we have people that have uh, plenty or abundant experience have been paid more than the younger personnel, yeah, than the younger or less experienced personnel because they have experienced a lot of condition where they can see the different practices as a good practice that can be implemented depend on when things get complicated, when the relation between A and B cannot easily be known except to the expert, and when things get complex it gonna be different because the approach that we gonna use is become no longer useful the procedure because it need to be tested, need to be trial, or we need to probe, and after that we can sense how the approach result, and then we try another response again. That we call it emergent. Emergent is when A plus B is when A plus B is not AB, but it's different condition for. So A plus B is C. So we cannot see the result from the things that been from its composition. For we cannot decompose some phenomena and see it as a things that gonna be effective if we manipulate that is or we do any uh, work on that. So this from or the chaotic person is the chaotic domain is when we have an emergency or several very exceptional condition, and where we have no practice or no procedure, because only we can first act and see what happened and then respond again, because there's no constraint in there. So in here we can see that a human is needed not to follow the procedure, because we have gonna have a lot of practice or a lot of experience, and the other things is they need to be become creative or solutive, or can work around with the condition that they have. And this happen, for example, is when we see that the accident at the Piper Alpha, a lot of the personnel that die on that tragic event is because they follow a procedure where if there's emergency condition, alarm going on, they need to gather at the galley of the restaurant of the platform. And when they gather at the platform, because the radio is being shut down because of the fire, and they don't have any further command what need to do, just wait there. But unfortunately, that place is become what do you call the line of fire of the fireball from the platform, and many of the person that follow the procedure together at the galley become victim, while the other personnel that jump to the sea or go out from the smoke that been gathered at the galley area, they become the person that have a better survival rate. And this is the second one. The second one is we try to improve safety, not by changing the behavior, by focusing on people, but by identifying what are the hazard and what are the things that we can improve from the operation that operationally gonna improve them. So this is example. In here we see that the try to improve safety by putting this mirror and telling people to know that, hey, you're the one who responsible for your safety, so be safe. While that doesn't really uh, resonate with what gonna we do in the real world, but try to see this video.
A key component
So
of
this
every
example
saw-stop
is
saw, the
the
patented
finger
safety feature,
of the
is made
worker.
possible by a
When the
sophisticated mechanism.
finger,
But the
the
concept is
sausage in
actually
here,
very simple.
touch the blade,
The
it
blade carries a small
have an
electrical
electrical
signal.
signal
This
that
charge
been
is
read and
continuously
then
monitored by a digital signal
activate a
processor.
locking mechanism in
When skin
here.
contacts
So
the
when it
blade, the
touch
signal
the
changes because the
finger of
human
the
body is
worker,
conductive.
it gonna
This
stop
change in
and gonna
signal
be
triggers a quick
retracting.
release aluminum
We
brake.
have a brake over
A
here
heavy-duty spring
that have
forces
the
the
stop
brake into the teeth
mechanism,
of the spinning blade. The teeth dig into the
and
aluminum,
then
stopping the blade
it
cold.
will retract the
The
blade
blade's momentum forces it to
lower.
retract below the
So
table,
the
and the motor
worker
is
gonna
automatically
be
shut off.
safer,
All
except
of that
only
happens in
small
less than
minor
5
bruises.
thousandths of a second, 10 times faster
And
than a
it's
car's airbag,
very fast.
all
It's
without
around a
damaging the saw.
millisecond,
It takes less than
and
5
it's gonna
minutes to
be
replace the
easy
brake assembly.
to
Just slip the
handle.
cartridge
From
in,
A
put a
to
new
B,
blade
which
on,
are a
and you're
safe,
back in business.
which are which what do you think gonna be safer for us? Of course, the B video, when we try to implement uh, things that been value to our operation. And what people didn't realize is that we focus too much on the individual or personal factor. On human side, we have see the human capability, we have fatigue, we see their moral overload or competency to deal with or deal with the circumstances or the condition, the work condition, and we also try to question their motivation. While we have other stuff that we can see, is it the job factor or the environmental condition, such as do they see a clear sign? Do they have any clear instruction? Do the equipment have a good label or the alarm? Or do they do a difficult task, complex task, or they do an unusual task? Do they have a divided attention? Do the procedure available or and adequate? Do they have time available for them? The tool that they use is appropriate for the task? How do they communicate with each other? And what are the work conditions that they're trying to work in our offshore industry or the onshore industry itself? We have a noise, we have heat, we have limited space, especially from offshore. We also have lighting where we have a 24-hour operation, and we have ventilation at our workshop that we need to consider. And other stuff and other factor, we have also organizational factor. We have, do they have work pressure from the production that they need to catch up, especially at the end of the month or end of the year, like 2 days, versus safety? And then how do their supervision level and nature of supervision? How do they have their manning level for the organization? How much person that is vacant at the organization currently? How is the peer pressure, the clarity of the role, and do they have any mix or double job handling several position in one time? Yeah. And do they have a learning process in the organization? And that kind of stuff, we need to consider not only individual factor or person factor, but also the job factor and also the organizational factor that can influence a worker also. The third one is that we need to learn more from success or normal work in addition to learning from failure and or accident. Because I ask this kind of question to the people on the field pretty much often. If I can, yeah. In 1 month, how many permit to work that we issued? They say around 500, 600 or something like that. And how many accidents that happen at their operation? They have two or three accident, very minor first aid case or near misses. And 3 out of 600 is 0.3%, yeah. 0. How many percent? 0.2%. So 99.8% of our operation is in safe operation, where we have a lot of things, where we do success in this role. But traditional safety only focus on this accident, unwanted outcome, while the percentage is only small, 0.2% from our example, yeah. And then while the 99.8% is we have a good operation, we have successful operation. This need to be learned more than the smaller one. If we can learn more from this, we can push this one to the left side of the normal chart, a Gaussian graphic. Yeah. For example, if we want to graduate from the college or from study, where do we learn? Do we learn from the people that being dropped out of school? Of course not. People learn from the person not receiving an F in their study. They learn from the people that can graduate even if they have some limitation. For example, you cannot, we have some limitation. For example, you need to work while you study. So we try to we try to learn during our study from people that can success in their operation and their study. Now, if we go back to our work, why do we learn from the people that have fallen with accident, not from people that have been successfully do their job? Also, if we try to make our wedding long lasting, yeah, when we try to make our marriage sakinah mawadah warahmah, for example, we not learn that from people that got divorced. We learn that from the people that have been married for several years, and even though that doesn't mean that they don't fight each other, but what make them a good to be or to make their marriage survive for throughout the years. So in if we try to reflect these two events, we don't learn how to be a good father, or be a good husband, or be a good wife, or be a good mother from the people that become divorced, or they have their son involved with crime, or their daughter involved with crime. But we learn that from good things from the good operation. So we need to try to implement or try to replicate this approach into our work. So in here we see that safety is not about the absence of negative. We're not trying to let go or to dig more on the investigation if there's any failure, but it's about the present of the capacities, how we can do better, or how we can do things successfully even though we have limitation. So Professor Sidney Dekker once been called by a health authority at Australia, where they employed 25,000 people, and they show him interesting or typical statistic of the event, when they said that 1 in 13 patient that come to hospital or to try uh, to receive care being hurt in the process. So for example, they have the people that uh, uh, d- uh, experience malpractice, or they have been receiving a drug that they need, then supposed to do, whether the doses or the frequencies or something like that. So they investigate, or they try to analyze what caused the 1 in 13 patient, or this is the proportion like that, or 7% of the for 7% of the event. So they see that that event, the people get hurt because of walk around, they have shortcut, they have violation because the guideline not been followed, because the error or miscalculation, unviable people or medical instrument cannot be found, unreliable measurement, or unuser friendly technologies, or they have the organization frustration, and they have supervisory shortcoming. But when he asked about, so how about 12 in 13 patient, what do they have? The health authority don't have the answer. What do they receive? When he do the small or mini research, it turned out that 12 in 13 patient also experience the same finding over here. So we can see that learning uh, from the accident, it doesn't really have effective or much learning. So we can rather be see that why do people, even though they have walk around, or even though they have a guideline not followed, how do people can succeed while caring for the patient? So it is an interesting finding we can see in here. So we need to learn more in the success rather than the failure or accident, because safety is about the capacity. What capacities that make people can deliver their work to achieve successful outcome, that we need to uh, make a bigger or better proportion. I think this the last one is about the need to strengthen or non-technical skill. From HSE professional, we have this kind of skill. We have a technical skill, we have a core skill, we also have a behavioral skill. And much of this skill is not really technical skill. We have communicational, we have communication, we have working with others, we have stakeholder management, we have leadership and planning, strategy and planning. While only a third of the competency that been required is technical. So in IGP report, International Oil and Gas Producer Association, and also from Safety at the Sharp End book, the guideline to non-technical skill, Flynn described a lot of things that we can learn to make our operation safer. For example, we need to understand how situational awareness being modeled or being how human process information, capturing information, processing that, and do decision making, and what is things that make our communication better. And communication is not only passing a passage from one person to another person, but also communication is need to the end point of communication. We have collaboration and teamwork or work team, yeah, in here. IS also make a good easy read booklet about communication. That's going to be interesting. And the teamwork, how the leader can uh, build a dynamic and good teamwork, how the leadership role, and then understand their leadership style, management, influence, and also the things that impacting human behavior, not only individual factor itself, but also the job factor and organizational factor. If we can understand this kind of stuff, hopefully we can improve our HHE performance. So this one is the last one, I think. The last stories that I can share you is about Professor Amy Edmondson from the Harvard Business School. He tried to research an 8-working team from 2 different hospitals. The problem is about at first a drug event. So the patient that receive malpractice from drug because of a lot of stuff, yeah, because of the diagnosis from the doctor itself, because of the because of the the creation or the development or the making of the drug itself, from the pharmacist, from the nurse that delivering the drugs, and from the supporting teams like such as laboratory, X-ray, and all of that provide the needed evidence or needed supporting information from to doctor to evaluate a disease. So he tried to understand the correlation between team effectiveness and human error that happened with this 8 work team. His initial hypothesis is that the team with good or better performance makes less or smaller error. What he had is, when he found out, is that the better team makes more mistake. So better team makes more mistake. Why is that happen? Because the better team at the end of the day have a climate of openness, and the climate of openness make the team member talk openly about the risk and error, often try to find a new way to catch and prevent them. And if when they talk around about their mistake, for example, when he took the wrong medicine, or when he administer different doses that have been prescribed by the doctor, or anything else, that stop the other person in the future to create another the same mistake. So the team actually that have better team or better performance have more mistake, because they report more. While team that have lower performance, they're not creating lower error too, but they just don't report the error. So the error is not being reported, and then they're not talking about it and causing the other person in the future experience the same problems. Well, he actually find out the term about psychological safety because the teams that have lower performance actually have a supervisor that don't create a climate of openness because they like to blame people if the personnel or the nurse report him about error, or if the personnel suggests him or her about the we need to make a difference, or we need to do different things because I have this suggestion to prevent error, and they have this critic for the team, so it make them didn't feel open about speak up and open to suggestion, and at the end of the day, at the long run, it caused the team performance to suffer while the error is still there but just not being reported. So I think this is the last section for the safety difference in practice. I just can show you two example. So in here, we can see that this the road in Dutch, they actually have a lot of accident in here because they put light traffic light, and they put a sign on the road, and the experiments they're doing experiment by removing the light, removing the curb, so people that use a bicycle, that using that walk, or the people that drive a car become more careful when they when they when they arrive at this point, because they don't see any sign, they don't see any road, they don't see any rambu, or we call it the rambu in they don't see any traffic sign, yeah, they don't see any sign, so making them more aware of their surrounding, and by removing all of this stuff, they actually become better, and then the gridlock when the rush hour or the accident rate is become reduced over the year. And then the other one is I think we have a video in here. This is from one of the drilling contractor, and at Michelle Service, let's see the video on this.
Mitchell Services is an ASX listed company. We've got over 350 employees. It doesn't matter what company you are. Mitchell Services is an ASX listed company. We've got over 350 employees. It doesn't matter what company you are, you should be operating safely, but certainly at Mitchell Services, it's all about our people. I think we've come a long way as a team and as a business over the last 5 or so years. And over that time, our incident severity has reduced, our incident occurrence has reduced, and that's a credit to Josh and his team.
The end of year is usually a high risk time of year, and that's where everyone focuses on everything that went wrong throughout the year. We actually turned that on its head and focused on what are the things that we did right. 6,000 shifts where we had no injuries at all compared to the 5 that we did. So we've learnt from those 5 injuries, but what about the 6,000 times where everything went right? Our home stretch program consisted of a number of areas. It started with leaders going out in the field and introducing the concepts of safety differently and encouraging the workforce to tell us about how you deal with variability. We changed our pre-shift meetings so that we would talk about Okay, what changed yesterday and how did you deal with it? Another thing was the Our People, Our Solutions initiative, where we'd encourage the workforce to come up with ideas to make their workplace better. And then we created Crew Chats, which was about humanising our workforce, that we're all from different backgrounds and that we're a growing business. So we've got employees scattered all around Australia and they've all got different personalities. But the one thing that brings us together is that we all work for Mitchell Services. Safety can be measured in the absence of something or it can be the presence of something. For us, our injury frequency rate dropped by 60%. The rate of injuries or the amount of injuries dropped by 40%. But our focus was more on let's learn from our workforce and let's make this a better place to work and a safer place to work.
The most important thing for me with the initiative is that everybody got to go home safely. That's the most important thing to me, is to see my family, and I want everyone that works for us, regardless of what they're doing, to do the same.
I've actually been able to make a change to the people that work for Mitchell Services and actually apply concepts that are very different to traditional safety, and we've been able to make them work.
I think that's it. This is the last slide from my closeout. We have safety science that have been developed. We need to learn. We need to continue updating our scientific area and try to put that on practice. And we need to realize that the work environment is getting more complex, and that complex city is not cannot be managed by demanding more compliance, but we need to put human there to fill the gaps in the imperfect work system that we have, from the imperfect tool, imperfect tasks, and perfect organization, so they can better successfully move on the organization. And the last one is that the new view in safety is needed, not to replace the old approach, but to complement, to be a complement. So by the problems that cannot be solved by the conventional safety program. And this is some reference for my presentation. And I think that's all for my event. Thank you for having me. From the last quote, I need share you the Sidney Dekker quote that the safety professional as today's need to view people not as a solution to harness rather than a problem to control, and we do need to consider safety more as a present of positive capabilities and move from vocabulary of control, constraint, and deficit into one of empowerment, try to diversity, and then to human opportunity. I think that's all. Mbak Hanna, thank you for having me.
Okay, such a brief explanation from Mr. Syamsul Arifin. Thank you for the insightful material regarding the safety differently. Okay, I think we're gonna move to the quick photo session before we're going to open the Q&A session. Please prepare yourself for the camera. Regarding the background, virtual background, you can have in the link that Mas Handika give before. Okay, I'll wait until 8:41 to anyone who gonna join the quick photo session for today's SPE MVT talks. All right. Okay, maybe we have enough participants that have opened their cameras. Okay, I'm gonna count in 3. Give your best smile for today's session. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, once again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think that the committee have been screenshot the photo session. Okay, talks about the material, I think that we can all agree that 5 principles of human performance should be related to our life basis, like just human being humans. In my perspective, like Mr. Syamsul said before, we can make mistake, we can learn to improvise, or by even any change, humans can be feel like demotivated. I do believe that everyone in this room has a lot of questions. Okay, before we go to the Q&A session, you can submit the question in the chat box, and I will verbally tell the question to the Mr. Syamsul to be answered. I think that oh, all right. Okay. For Mr. Purnomo, you can open your mic and ask the question to the Mr. Syamsul.
Thank you. Is my voice clearly?
Yes, clear.
Okay, Mas Syamsul, I have two questions. The first one is by change the condition, it means we need investment more to develop safety. So what strategies can balance modern safety with financial limitation? The second one is maybe I will ask with specific case, specific in public driving system, as we know that public driving system is very complicated in Indonesia because we address challenge such as drive behavior, infrastructure limitation, and also technology limitation. So what modern safety approach to develop public driving system effectively? I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Purnomo, for the question. Yeah, Mr. Syamsul, you want to answer directly or collect all the questions?
Okay, we can try to answer that ya, Mbak Hanna ya. Okay, let's answer
Right.
one question by a time ya.
You want to directly answer the questions, and then we're gonna move to the others. Okay.
Okay. Baik, Mas Jarod nih, Mas Jarod actually the one need to be sure about this kind of the kind of implementation in field ya, field specific field condition context ya. So Mas Jarod says that if we want to change the condition to better improve our safety, that's gonna be need more investment. That's true for one things, but that's we can move from a different perspective also because some changes possibly doesn't require much investment. So what the first thing that I see is that the changes that become a priority is the change on our mindset, that we need to see person not as a hazard. We need to see person as a source of solution, not because it's gonna be different. We gonna come up with different ideas. If we consider people as hazard, we're gonna see the approach that we take. We're gonna be more policing or more enforcing compliance. But if we see that the worker as a source solution to harness, we're gonna see that hey, people not stupid. People not stupid. They're working hard. They're working this long, and they have this experience. We need to talk to them. What make them difficult to do their job? they already know the answers, and we just need to open our ear more than open our mouth, telling them what need to do. But by listening what they need to have on the field. So the biggest change that I think is that the change on our mindset, change on the way we look on people, and that's gonna be better for me because that become better for us because we're gonna think people as a human, not as a criminal that need to be watched 100% because we cannot do that on the field. And also by having this shifting in perspective, we can also have better conversation, and then we can have better relation. And at the end of the day, they're gonna be trusting more with their leaders, and they're gonna be have speak up condition. But there are also one downside of this approach actually that I haven't talked about in here. When people if we have if we I bought a book written by Todd Conklin and Cindy Decker. In the first pages of the book, uh, they share an experience that the HSE manager or a general manager of this organization have had had implement a good safety differently approach. And what come up is that because they have built trust, the report or the incident report is become more reporting, and then that make the people at the top management not ready for that. And then he already make a good climate of openness, and the reporting system they have built, this HSE manager have built trust in the organization. The top management doesn't like it because it create more report to the organization, and they think that more report is bad, and that causing this HSE manager to be fired. And that's very unfortunate because it just slammed to this new the good climate that been developed by this HSE manager, and it just been crash up, that just been smashed in one day. So it has also the consequences, and then probably some of the HSE practitioner in here need to be ready for that kind of consequence, and we need to try to engage the top management first rather than already building a good openness, psychological safety climate, and receive a lot of influence, a lot of input on the accident or reporting, and but the top management haven't ready for that. And then the second one is about the public driving system, yeah, to be more effective, yeah. I think it can be different from different condition, yeah. The last video that I show you when the driving when the approach that been implemented at Dutch, where the people where they take out the sign, take out the lamp, take out the curb, take out a lot of stuff from the road, making them better. We need to evaluate that whether it can be implemented in Indonesia with the different context or different maturity on the lot of people, but probably in some area that can be implemented, yeah. But possibly we need to be cautious because for one of example, yeah, the safety differently approach also cannot be implemented for the major accident hazard management for our process safety approach, because in process safety you have a very rigid program and how to do the inspection, how to do the evaluation or the process hazard analysis, and how we manage our SECE or safety environment critical equipment. It's gonna be different from when we try to implement occupational safety, we call that in here. The approach safety differently is possibly more gonna be can be implemented better in the occupational safety side, but for the process safety or assurance, it's gonna be different because it's gonna be required more hierarchical, or it's gonna be have we need to be straight on the how do we manage the compliance for the handling for the reliability on something like that. So it's gonna be we need to very careful also and try to see the context of the condition that we're gonna implement using the safety differently framework. Yeah, probably that, Mbak Hannah.
All right. Is it satisfied for the answer, Mr. Jarot?
Very clear, thank you.
All right. Thank you for your questions. Okay, we're gonna move to the second questions is from Mr. Dedi. You can ask your question directly to the Mr. Syamsul.
Yes, thank you, Hannah. Nice to meet you, Mr. Syamsul. I'm ready. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss with you tonight. I'd like to ask for a simple question. Can we combine between the safety one and safety two in the implementation in the workplace? You know, because safety one and safety two, I think it's about mindset. Yeah, how we take a look more about the condition of the safety itself. And so far, our problem actually I'm working in the state electricity company in Indonesia, and then where I know is I also working with the local workforce. Sometimes it is difficult to control their behavior, especially when they're conducting something with the high risk working, and we have to hire them for the localized opportunity, you know. And sometimes it's very difficult about their knowledge, and then their competence, their experience is very low. So if we compare about the safety different or maybe safety two that the proposed by Eric Hornegger or something like that, it's very hard, you know. It's very hard. So it's mean that sometimes I also think that what about if the Sydney Decker and then Eric Hornegger conduct a research in Indonesia? Because you know, developing country and developed country is different culture, different knowledge and the competence, something like that. So I totally agree if we implement this safety too, but we have to take a look more and more about our culture, our knowledge, and then our view about the safety. So what do you think, Mr. Syamsul? Thank you.
Yeah, Mbak Hannah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dedi, for the questions. I'm gonna hand over to Mr. Syamsul.
Yeah, Mbak Hannah. Thank you, Pak Dedi. Pak Dedi also the one need to be sharing some of the example in here. Yeah, nah, he just trying to test me in this event. Yeah. Okay, Pak Dedi, I agree with you, Pak. Because Eric Holnagel never said that the safety two or safety differently approach gonna be replacing the safety one or the conventional or the old view. Yeah. He said that this is as an complementary approach for because things cannot be for the problem that cannot be solved and will not be solved by the all conventional safety approach. And by looking at your context of operation, possibly that is what you're doing is the best approach that been already been done, because in several context operation we need to possibly give them more opportunities or more autonomy where they can discuss, collaborate, and the diversity of thought. It can be better in a group where the engineering or where people being recruited is also have a high level of intelligence or a high level of or other need that are being fulfilled, because the people already been they have their stomach full, so they can maximize their potential for the brains. Yeah, because in the different people did not consider, possibly not consider as work as a place where they can fully fulfill their creativities or the potential capacities, because they only see that as a place where he can jump around between jobs, because it's not also uh, giving them better or uh, sufficient benefit for them, or higher benefit that they can receive in other place also they have. And I also agree with you, because in several operation where we have fatalities or serious injury potential, we also need to treat that very seriously. And in some of the cases, the monitoring or policing people is become more effective, especially we have bigger crew, and the crew themselves is not internalized, have not been internalized long enough with the values of the companies that already they don't have any they're not yet developed trust, building trust, or they don't have not develop a good relational condition with the company. So they see that as their workplace as a transactional place, is not as a place where they can become a place where they stay long enough. Yeah, so I agree with you, but that can be mixed or combined approach. This can be operate depend on the context or operation.
Thank
Okay.
you, Mr. Sam.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dedi, for the questions. We have several questions in the text box. I will read it to you, but unfortunately, we have a limitation of time, so I just directly speak the question by Mr. Teguh Perdana. And the question is there any correlation with our culture whereby our people tend to be receptive instead of speaking up of something unsafe? They will be so much complacent with the situation. How do you see the safety differently concept will work well in our workplace? Is it also same as Mr. Mirza Kurniawan? It's talk about the Indonesian culture for the safety differently implementation in our workplace. Okay, Mr. Syamsul, the screen is yours.
Okay, Pak Teguh. Well, interesting question, Pak Teguh. Well, possibly yes ya Pak ya. Possibly yes, Pak Mirza juga also ya. Because we also need to try to understand the logical reasoning why people don't like to speak up ya. The first one that I can mention is about how our education is being conducted. Yeah, in the classroom we told many times, especially if you grow up in the early 80s or 90s, yeah, when the teacher asks you to be silent and listen up what the teacher says, write down what the teacher says and don't talk to each other. And it can be different, but possibly today's or nowadays, or the Gen Z, generation possibly gonna have a different habit. Yeah, I'll call it a habit because or the person that have been the elementary school student right now, because they're being taught in the classroom to have discussion, to have collaboration, to become more critical, to be taught that a different opinion doesn't mean that they don't like you. Having different opinion, just we have a different uh, frame of mind, or we have a different reasoning about seeing something. So it kind of it also happen because of how we been educated, or we been taught on the school. Yeah. And then also the second one that I can possibly mention is, but because is the experience that they have when they're speaking up in the past. Because previously, maybe if they speak up, that cause much more pain than the benefit of them speaking up, and that's why they're learning. People learn more on social from the theory of Bandura, yeah, social cognitive learning or social learning theory. We learn by seeing things. We learn by observing the pattern that have occurred around us. So the small one, if they have this very broken families, when they see their father or their mother fight up, he see or learning that, oh, possibly this is how I need to run my relation with other people. So they become learning at that. And then they learn also that when they speak up, it do harm with your career, or it will make your friend's career being hurt, because they got a bit fire, or they receive a warning letter. uh, in the next run, in the future, they will not gonna be speaking up again. So the condition that we see is not merely a culture, I said, but it's also it's not only the national culture, but also the organizational culture. Previously work at the international company, where speaking up, it's been accepted. And then when the personal lower your grade, challenging the upper hierarchy is very much common, and that is being expected by people. So if you're smart, you're challenging the people upstairs, because you have a better knowledge, you have better experience, you have a good reasoning, and your reasoning is logical, your argumentative is clear. And that's kind of interaction that I personally sees uh, when our manager being challenged by the engineers. It's been kind of common, and the manager also accept that as a part of the discussion to find a better decision. It's not because I'm the manager, I have the power to decide this kind of things, a lot of things, but not that. But we need to be challenging each other, and that the organizational culture can defeat the national culture, or the past experience that we have, because it's also, as I said previously, human is a social creature. We learn from social interaction, we learn about the phenomena, and we will easily understand pattern that have in our surrounding. Possibly that, Mbak Hanna, ya. Thank you, Bapak Ibu, for your attention and our good discussion.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Syamsul. For this Q&A session, if you have any question that I'm sorry, you can't directly say to Mr. Syamsul by this time, but you can still ask your question even if you are not selected by directly visit Mr. Syamsul's social media. All right, I think that this is my last session for today's event. Thank you, Mr. Syamsul, for your insightful perspective about the safety different. And I'm gonna hand over to Mas Handika. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mas Syamsul, for sharing the interesting topic, and also thanks to Mbak Hanna to lead the Q&A session. And as a token of appreciation from SPE Java Indonesia section, we would like to invite Mas Farid Febrian as our Vice Chairperson of SPE Java Indonesia section to share the e-certificate to our speaker and our moderator. Okay, Mas Farid Febrian, the time is yours.
So my voice is clear, Mas Handika.
Clear, Mas.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Pak Syamsul, for your insightful presentation on seeing safety differently to improve HSSE performance. Your expertise have provided us with valuable takeaways to enhance our safety culture and practices. It is my pleasure to present this e-certificate as a token of our appreciation for your understanding contribution to today's session. Your dedication to sharing your knowledge is truly inspiring, and we hope to continue learning from your expertise in the future. Thank you, Pak Syamsul, once again.
Thank you, Pak Farid, for having me, Pak.
Thank you, Pak.
Maybe a quick smile in 3, 2, 1, yeah, Mas Farid and Syamsul for our documentation. Okay, smile in 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And also for the moderator, Hanna, thank you for your guiding for today's session. Your moderation ensured that the discussion was productive and on point, allowing all the participants to benefit fully from this talk. We are also pleased to present you with this e-certificate as a small recognition of your significant role in making this event success. Your ability to foster meaningful dialogue and create a smooth flow of interaction is greatly appreciated. And thank you for your excellent support. Thank you, Hanna, once again.
Thank you, Mr. Farid and SPE Java for having me.
Okay, smile one more time together in 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
Back
you,
to
Mas Farid.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing the certificate. And also, I would like to remind all of you to fill the form, and you will get the e-certificate if you fill the form, and this is the link for the MVT feedback form. Okay, this is the end of our event for tonight, and don't forget to renew or register as SPE member to enjoy all the benefits and the opportunity. To stay tuned and keep up to date with our event and activities, you can follow our Instagram or LinkedIn, and also you can go to our website spe.org to get the newest information for the SPE Java Indonesia section. Okay, this is last from us. Thank you for coming to our event.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr.